we shared last week, but we've been reworking on it with Sam lately, and we'd love to share it with you so you all get an idea of what the initial hatching phase is going to be and all the parameters that we've been discussing in the previous meeting, and how all those may impact the initial phase, the hatching, what we call the hatching DAO. So Sam is sharing his screen.
Much better, much better. Yeah, I am sharing the screen. I already talked a little bit about that in the previous call, but I am going to go through all of it again in order to that be recorded. And the idea is, well, I am going to go through it and see what we do with the decisions that we have to take. The idea is that the contributions, the people can contribute to the hatch when the data arrives, and what they do is to mint tech and deposit some DAI into an initial reserve. And only people who has CSTK tokens can vote. Can deposit their DAI here. And there is also a ratio. So, for example, if you have 1 CSTK token, you can deposit 1 DAI or 10 DAI or 10 cents. Who knows? We still have to decide this parameter. And once we reach the minimum cap with a certain amount of time, or we can also reach a max cap in less time. If that is reached, we go to the next phase, which is the post hatch. But if it's not reached, we refund the DAI and burn the tech. Maybe we start a new hatch later if that happens. But the idea is that we don't go anywhere else if we don't reach a minimum goal here. That we have reached that certain amount of money, and we go to the post-hatch phase. And the post-hatch phase, the first thing that is done is that we split the DAI into 2 pools, the reserve pool and the funding pool. Actually, that's how we think it's going to be right now. We will discuss later if we want that or not. And once we have split the DAI, we begin with the hatch vote or migrate DAO proposal or whatever. This proposal is made, and you have to pay a tribute or a target fee in order to create that proposal. People vote, and if the vote is no, we can do another proposal, but we have to wait a little bit of time. There can only be one proposal after the other, and we have to wait that buffer here. People at any time can redeem their tokens. They redeem tokens from the funding pool in that case, or from the reserve pool. And the people redeems in that hatch DAO. People redeems from the reserve pool, and we have already split it in 2, so they can only redeem part of the tokens that they added at the beginning. And the idea is that people who voted yes here, if that is a yes, their tokens are locked. Yes, your tokens are locked. So what does it mean? That they cannot redeem until that vote is ended. That also means that if you have voted yes and this vote is passed and we go to another DAO with all the funds, there is you are letting people redeem. The people who said no or abstained can redeem. Meanwhile, you are waiting for all the funds and all the tokens that are left to go to the new DAO. So that's a bit of the idea of the hatch DAO. And the idea was to discuss it with legal. I think that it's a good framework to begin with. I think that legal, from the legal perspective, what we have to describe is what people can do with that hatch DAO. And actually what they can do is to go to migrate to a new DAO. But everybody who said yes here or abstained here, or actually maybe they said no, but people said yes, okay. The people who said no or abstained, they had that last resort to redeem their tokens. But if you didn't redeem here, you are going to the new DAO. That's the logic. And we are also we want to do that split here, or we just want one. In that case, it will be the reserve pool, so all of their tokens just in once, and they don't donate anything to the funding pool until we are here. In that moment is when we split if we want. So that's open to discussion. Maybe we want to discuss it here in the legal group if that's better to have that. If people who redeems wants to have to redeem everything or maybe not. Probably it doesn't have so much sense to divide it here. And
I want to welcome everyone that just joined, Marina, Lawrence, and Julio. You got a little late here. We are discussing this diagram, which shows basically the flow of the initial hatching DAO, which is the one that's going to set up everything. All right. And there are certain parameters that we are still discussing. We started discussing them on the previous meeting, which there's going to be, this is a new working group that's taking place, started today at 3 p.m. And we're going to have 4 or 5 sessions, no more than that, where everyone's welcome to come and understand all the parameters that are going to be decided on the launching phase, especially, and also later on when we are already running. But basically, the starting ones are the most important and relevant right now. So, on a quick review, basically the period starts, and anyone who has CSDK tokens, only those who own CSDK tokens can invest. And the amount of investment that they can do has to be decided yet. Okay, for every single CSDK token that you will have, you will be able to purchase a certain amount of token engineering tokens at the price that we will decide. Now, those DAI tokens will go to a temporary reserve until we reach a minimum cap on a period of time that we will decide. If the minimum cap is reached, we will move forward. If it's not reached, we are slightly still discussing, but it looks like everything will be refunded to the investors. Nothing will be kept. Those who have impact hours will keep their impact hours. We'll see how we may use them in the future. But we are thinking that the most reasonable thing is to give back everything to everyone. Now, if we reach that minimum cap, we move forward. And this is what Sam was doing. Initially, the split of reserve is done there, but we can move it. We can move that split of funds at the very end of this initial DAO, and then there's the starting time when there's a new proposal that has to be launched, charging a toll gate fee, which will propose to migrate to the new DAO, where conviction voting will be implemented. There will be a period of time to vote that. If the proposal passes the vote, we will move forward to the new DAO. If it doesn't pass, there will be a new proposal, and hopefully, after 2 or 3 proposals, we should be able to pass to the next DAO. Now, those who don't feel comfortable may be able to redeem for whatever reason before we move forward to the next DAO. But when voting starts, only those who have not supported the voting will be able to redeem. If you support the proposal, you will not be able to redeem unless the proposal doesn't move forward and there's a new one coming in. All right. So those are basically the parameters that we are gonna be dealing with, especially on the launching phase or the launching DAO, which will last only this period of time until we jump into migrate into the new DAO. So I'd like to hear your thoughts, everyone's thoughts on these parameters that we are having to set here.
Let's do a round. Let's give everyone a chance to speak. Santi, why don't you go first?
Okay, as I was telling you, of course there's some parameters that are not that I would say that legal. I don't have any worries in terms of legal, like the price of the token or the amount of tokens that we can purchase for every single CSDK token. For the refund, I think what it's fair is to give back everything. If you're putting impact hours and the project doesn't move forward, those who have impact hours will still have those impact hours, and hopefully we might be able to relaunch the project later on, and we will see how we use those impact hours for contribution. But I don't feel comfortable taking someone else's money if this whole thing doesn't go forward. That's my personal take. Then moving forward, we have to decide the split, and that's a important parameter that we were discussing in the previous meeting. And for the rest, I feel comfortable with everything. I don't have any special issue there or concern. But I'd love to hear everyone else's opinion here. So I don't know if Marina, you want to go? You have everything clear here?
Thank you. I would like to be the last one because I just came and I don't have a really concrete comment right now.
Okay. Griff, you want to go next?
Sure. I always have opinions. Yeah, I think the big question here is where we put the DAI split. So like if people can redeem all of the funds that they put in, or if we, upon entering the first DAO, we basically say there's a forced donation to token engineering public goods, whether you come in or not. So yeah, I think that's the big question. I personally like the forced donation, so that when people buy in, they put in $100, they get, let's say the Hatch Tribute's 35%, they get $65 worth of tokens back that they can redeem. They can redeem those. They put in $100, they get TEC tokens that they can redeem for $65. They know going in, they're losing money. They know going in, this is altruistic. They know going in, this is the point of this thing is a donation. It's a really clear signal. So I really like that. And I'm guessing it makes life easier on legal. Maybe it doesn't matter because there's also the option of making the DAO split after. If people don't like the parameters, they can get all of their money back, and that's okay. And I don't think it's bad to go either way, but I prefer the forced donation. I'll pass it to you, Sam.
I just realized that actually people is not going to reach all the money that they added anyway, because here in that moment we are creating tokens for the impact hours. So actually they are tokens that are created, so people the other funds are also going to be splitted. I mean, we are creating tokens, but we are not adding money. So people is going to, if people redeems, they are only going to get a part of the money that they put it in, because the new token holders are also going to have the right to redeem. So actually, even if we put the DAI split in the final DAO, we still have to put it here, the mint tech for impact hours. And that means that redeem is, you are always going to have a donation in the case that we reach the mint cap. I hope that makes sense for legal.
Yeah, so no matter what, the money gets transferred to impact hours people. So technically, the people who contributed funds will, no matter, even if we don't split until the end, they would have less money. That becomes a transfer of wealth, which is a little scary. But it's also, the nice thing is everyone with C-Stack tokens is part of the Common Stack Association. There is a legal entity, and if the Common Stack Association, gets slapped in the face, every individual is at least protected.
Well, we can change that and mint the impact hours at the end with the vote. And we can also allow people, actually, that transfer of funds, if that's a problem from the legal perspective, we can allow people who had the funds at the beginning.
I can't imagine it's a problem. I can't imagine it's a problem with from the legal perspective. I'd be curious to hear others' thoughts, but it's like we just have to say it in the terms and conditions, and then
we can change
the design.
We can change the design if that's a problem. We can have two tokens, impact hours and an initial tech, and then when we do the vote, we transform the impact hours into tech.
But the impact hours people should be able to vote.
Yes, and they will.
Oh, because
we can aggregate.
You give the tokens.
Yeah, we can aggregate the tokens. There is an application, Aragon application for that.
Okay, we'll pass it to someone else. This shouldn't just be a conversation with you and me. That was the last call.
Is legally responsible for the security of the reserve and the funding pool. Assume that the DAI goes somewhere, so someone needs to take responsibility for security and if the multi-sig wallet or whatever. So is it the Common Stack Association that holds those funds in trust, or what?
Man, I could not hear you very well, Dr. Lau.
Okay.
I could hear him. He was saying that when we are starting collecting those, and correct me if I'm wrong, Lawrence, when we are starting collecting those funds before we move forward, who's holding those funds there on the reserve? Is that the Commons Stack? Who's holding them?
Well, yeah, the DAO is holding it. Everybody who's putting those funds in is a member of the Commons Stack, but they have individual control of their funds, at least of the tokens. So as an individual, they're holding those tokens, and it's not the Commons Stack. Commons Stack's legal entity has no way to get that money out. So,
but when they put them in and they go to the reserve, who's holding that reserve? It's
a smart contract. It's And the smart contract is controlled by the token holders in a vote. Only votes can move those funds. There is no multi-sig.
Okay.
Well, the multi-sig is made by everyone. Yeah. At least we don't have a multi-sig.
Lawrence, did you want to say more on that?
I'm just thinking of some other DAOs because they, due to flaws in the code, some of the funds got siphoned off sometime, so someone had to make the shortfall. So I'm asking, in the worst case scenario, if something screws up, who is accountable for the shortfall?
I mean, you could always sue the Common Stack Association, but we really don't have any money, so that's probably who you'd go for. The Common Stack Association for sure is saying, like, we are protecting the members for building this DAO.
Or should we go for some insurance like that? Was it Prime DAO Mutual that we looked at a couple of weeks ago? Because
Nexus.
they insure against loss of cryptocurrency under the right circumstances.
Might be interesting. Get some insurance. Did you have any other comments or anything, Dr. Lawrence, or did you want to pass it to someone?
So the post-hatch is the second phase because you still have to vote on the bonding curve, the conviction voting, and I think what is missing is how do you convert post-hatch praise into tokens, because that effectively dilutes the existing money. So that needs to be clear.
The post-hatch praise, just to tell you, the plan is not set yet for how we reward people post-hatch, but it will be funded through conviction voting, whatever it is. So the pre-hatch praise turns into impact hours, and Sam and I were debating whether or not it's a separate token that's redeemable or not, or exactly how that is going. That could be done. I'd be curious to hear your opinion on whether or not you think it matters that upon it, the people with impact hours can get some of the money pre-hatch, before the final DAO launches, and if that's a problem. But
yeah, the usual rule is to sort of have a lock-up period. So people who put in hours, they can liquidate that maybe 1 or 2 years later.
Actually, what we are doing is putting the vesting in the final DAO, and here the tokens are going to be completely locked, and they will only be able to be redeemed. The only mechanism that people can move their funds is by redeeming, or actually, if we don't reach the min cap, by refunding. And then the other mechanism is to migrate to a new DAO.
Well, Dr. Lau, do you want to pass to someone?
Okay, whoever wants to comment next. Marina?
Okay, I'll pass it to Zeptimus.
Yeah, hello guys. I don't have that much to add, but I'm agree on like most of the things we're talking about, especially on the separating the tokens. on the before the going to the final DAO. I think it's better like when, I mean, people are already losing money when they're putting money in, if we because of the tribute. But if we add also the impact hours, I think that's not. I don't know. I think that can have some problems, and I think that's a good idea. But for the rest, I'm pretty agree with all we were discussing here. And I'll pass it to Craig.
Yeah, hi, joined late. I don't have much to add. I'm really just trying to digest and wrap my brain around all of this. But I hope at some point to have some useful comments. I mean, it's fascinating and it's so important. Has anybody not gone?
We can go to Julio Cuarta.
I copy-paste the comment that HMB's made because, yeah, it's very complicated, especially from an interest, an agent interest point of view. I mean, I understand how all the pieces come in place and who expect what from. I mean, it's complicated, so I'm not very. I don't have comments to make at this point.
Cool. Well, Paulo still needs to go. What do you think, Paulo?
Yeah, for the moment, I think it will be a good idea. I think I support the idea of excluding the having two tokens, one for the impact hours and the original. And I have a question about when the migration mode is created and people have the option of redeeming some tokens. They can redeem 100% of the percentage of original tokens that were allocated in their set pool. And if they can redeem the tokens that were allocated on the funding pool, but just the ones that were on the reserve pool, right?
I think that we are not understanding so well. What I get?
When the migration vote is created and people can vote, you have the option of redeeming the tokens if you don't know or abstain, right?
Yes. You would have the.
Yeah, my question would be, what tokens can you redeem? The ones that were allocated on the reserve pool.
Okay, yeah. The thing is that if we have two tokens, one for the impact hour and one for the text, we can allow only people for text to redeem. And if we have two funding pools, we can also redeem from one of the pools, which will be the reserve. So we can play these two things. And the question here is, who do we allow to redeem and how much we allow to redeem them? And it
Get back from the reserve pool.
we are not listening very well, Pablo.
Sorry.
Maybe we can pass it to somebody else.
Yeah, sorry, Paulo. I think it sounds like a Linux problem. It sounds like your mic has. Well, no, it just sounds like you're in like some kind of electromagnetic car. You know?
Sorry.
I think I feel like a lot of super hackers have this problem. I don't know why. But maybe you could mute because there's like a constant stream of power coming from your mic.
Yeah. Sorry, guys.
Thanks, Paulo. Marina, it's your turn. I think you're the last one up.
Cool, thank you. So yeah, I think there's few interesting things here that I think might be interesting from the legal point of view, but I can't express my opinion right now on, it's good or bad or how it should be managed. But the thing that there's no multisig, the thing that, of course, like we have a cap, and then if not reached, it will be refunded. And then the redeemable part. I mean, I think, like you said, Griff, that if it's written in terms and conditions, might not be a problem if we say that a part of it would be donated. But yeah, I mean, we'll. I think I need to think a little bit more about it. But if it's kind of this kind of donation, it's very clearly stated, and they know that this is going to happen. They will just agree when they will accept the terms and conditions. They will agree this is what's happening. This is just like really short comments for now.
Okay, I have a question. The transference of funds, which people who gets tech tokens because of the impact hours, from the technical perspective, dealing with 2 tokens is a little bit. It takes a little bit more of work than having just 1 token, and it's much more elegant to have just 1 token. But we can have 2. The thing is that from the legal perspective, that donation that you were saying, Marina, that it will not be a problem if that donation is okay. You are accepting that if you put money here, it's going to be controlled by everyone, and you will only be able to redeem a part of it, your percentage of it. And your percentage is not going to be the percentage you had here anymore, because now we are splitting the funds with more people in that point here.
Was there a question there, Sam?
Yeah.
You mean this was a question in a way that if this is going to happen, is it still not problematic from the legal point of view?
Yes.
Okay. I mean, of course, it's more complicated, and I think the first thing is to make them understand as good as possible. So if there would be someone that is not really, fluent in all the things that we are speaking about, would be needed to be explained in a way that the person would understand. But I can't say very clearly right now, yes or no.
Okay.
One problem I have with the impact hours token is that if they don't have any skin in the game, like basically if they don't upgrade the DAO, they get nothing, right? So now that means that all the impact hours are just yes votes. So either they shouldn't have voting power, or they should have the funds. I feel like either we give the token, and I personally think that we want the people with impact hours to be able to signal that this final DAO is a bad idea. I'm voting no, and I'm going to exit if these parameters get voted in. I think that's a valuable signal. So for me, even though I agree that it makes it harder for people who come in and don't have any impact hours to be like, I'm gonna put money in, and some of it's going to the funding pool in the future. Yeah, okay. Some of it's going to impact hours. What? Another one. I don't want to contribute. That does kind of suck. But I really think the impact hour people should have skin in the game, and it's a powerful signal on whether or not it's a good idea to upgrade to that final DAO. That's not a legal conversation, though.
Yeah. Yeah, it has quite interest for splitting the funds with everyone in the and provide them with TEC here.
Yeah, related with you just say, Garif, like we were saying before, like the only people who will be able to invest in the hatch is the people with impact hours, but then
with C-stack tokens.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Which a lot of the people, everyone who has impact hours has C-stack tokens, but there are people who haven't been active in the last little bit, like Simon de la Rouvier. I don't think he has any. If he has, oh no, he did have impact hours. Damn it! But there are other people who have C-stack. Trent, no, he probably has impact hours too. Damn it. Okay, most people will have impact hours. We're pretty liberal with those impact hours, but they'll only have a little bit, you know. And there might be people who put in a lot more money than they have impact hours.
Yeah, the thing is that Thepti is right that we have a very selected group of people that we are not dealing with two different groups here. Probably we are all going to be very aligned. People who is putting money and people who is putting impact hours.
I do think it's going to be a big gradient. There's going to be people with a lot of impact hours that don't put in much money, and a lot of people with very few impact hours that put in a bunch of money.
Yeah.
So.
Is there any way that people would there be any way where people with only impact hours and not putting any money to be able to vote but not redeem, of course?
Technically, that's possible. I'm a little skeptical of that idea. Sam, did you have something to say?
Mm-hmm.
No, I like what you said about splitting it here. We mint tech tokens for impact hours in that phase here, and that means that people who has impact hours can cash out immediately. Maybe it's something that, well, maybe it's something that we want to prevent.
I think it's a good signal, personally. It's like, well, these people, you know, there will be some who do it. And I guess there's also the question of, can they cash out partially, right? And maybe they'll want to. Especially, you know what? Some people don't have a lot of funds. It's coronavirus time, you know? And if they put money into the DAO, it's going to be vested for a lot of time. I mean, maybe it's okay to let them take the early exit. I think it will be a mistake on their part in the long-term run, but sometimes your mom breaks her hip or something and like you need the money. And, you know, that I also think that might be okay.
The thing is that we need to complicate legal? I think that it's okay too, but maybe we can move these kind of things to the final DAO in some way. Maybe
I just don't want you to think that sounds like a fear decision. I really don't think that the fact that we're taking money when someone contributes and then we take money and put it in a funding pool that they don't have access to, we're already doing that. Now, the transfer of wealth to this distinct set of people, I'm pretty confident that we just need to put that in the terms and conditions. And technically, everyone is a member of the same legal entity. So, I mean, that shouldn't. I would think it would be okay, you know, as long as they know they're agreeing to it.
Yeah, we're running out of time here, and I would love to dive at least for a little bit into the other points that I wanted to discuss today. And one of them has to do with the Dapp that we are building. So everyone joins and becomes, while joining, a member of the association. Can you give us a little update on that, Griff?
It's really sad because I'll have a really good update in 3 hours from now, because we're going to have a call about the progress from the devs. But at the very least, I can show you the important parts that matter for legal, even though I can't give you a really concrete timeline. Let me see if I can pull it up. Do you want to talk about it while I try to find this Figma? Give some background.
Sure. Basically, what we're doing here is we're building an app where everyone will have to go through in order to sign up and get their CSTK tokens. When you sign up, through the process of signing up, you will have to donate a certain amount of money. We have to decide how much, a minimum, and of course, there's no maximum. And while you do that, you will become a member of the association. So can you just go ahead?
Yeah, I want to actually correct something that's interesting. There is no donation maximum. These donations go to the common stack. How do I get rid of that? Oh, well. These donations go to the common stack, but there is a maximum, and this is not something that we've really promoted because it doesn't exist yet, but there is a maximum trust score. So the C-Stack token has a registry, and that registry says, and this is 100% centralized. It is me. Before it was me and Lorelei. Now it's me, Chris, and Dan. We literally just assign people a number. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Like for the most part, we try to keep the magic alive. But we go through, when people fill out the form, we look up every single person. We look up their Ethereum address. We search them on Twitter. And if they have a green frog on their Twitter account, which we've had a few, we reject their application. Okay. And it's not just the green frog. It's also like, what are they tweeting about and what did they fill in? So when people apply, sometimes we look them up. Sometimes we reject them. Most of the time, we're talking 98% of the time, we accept them and we give them a max trust score. And that max trust score actually creates a cap of how many C-Stack tokens they're allowed to have. And that cap is based off of, can we trust them? Because it's the trusted seed. And so it's a curated list of trusted people. And if they're a random person on the internet and we don't know them, we actually give them a low trust score. So they might only be able to contribute like 500 DAI in this Dapp that I'm going to show. And that would max their tokens out. Yeah.
Griff.
Can you give an example of things that would make you feel that someone is not trustful?
It's really just that we don't have good information on them. Okay.
But when you mentioned that they have a green frog there, what are you referring to?
Oh, if they're values driven, if they're joining the trusted seed because they want to see public goods proliferate throughout the world using economics, the token economics, dude, they're in. If they're trying to get into the hatch so that they can make some short-term profits or even long-term profits and they don't care about token engineering, they're out.
Hey, Griff, can the cap change over time or is it fixed from the fixing point?
No, it's in a smart contract, and Chris, it's not in a smart contract yet. That's part of the requirements of the C-Stack Dapp, to have this registry on XDAI that's public, that anyone can go and see their address and what their score is. Although we don't plan on really promoting the max score because it's, for most people, it's just going to be high enough that it doesn't matter. But yeah, it can always be changed, and that's the thing. When we reject people, like we actually did this last night, and I rejected someone because their Twitter was just about airdrops, and they didn't have a green frog, but they had a Joker as their Twitter handle. And we don't reject them. I messaged them and I asked you, hey, like, what are you thinking about with the trusted seed? You know, and I reach out, and they haven't responded yet. So if they don't respond, then, you know, if they tell me, yeah, you know, I love token engineering, I've been following you guys for a while, I'm so excited about how we can oh, they're in, and we'll give them a trust score. If they instead respond with, yeah, man, I've been in the crypto for a while, number go up, and I'm super stoked to be, you know, then sorry, you know, like, I have to reject them. So, and there's also the max score for anybody, like Simon de la Rouvier, Sem, myself, with this cap. The cap is actually related to the total supply. So we cap everyone at 10%. No one can have more than 10% of all C-Stack tokens. Okay, but let's go through the Dapp. And I'm sorry that hasn't been very well explained. We will publish that information. The problem is it's not done, so it's hard to go too deep in it. So when someone comes to the website, this is what they'll see. They will connect their wallet, and they will see terms and conditions that are now verified by RAF, by the way. So that's super cool. And so they'll actually use their wallet to sign the terms and conditions. And then we'll save that information that their address signed our terms and conditions. And then if they're not a member of the trusted seed, then they can apply to a whitelist. If they are a member and they just use the wrong address, they have an opportunity to change their wallet address. They'll be able to see how much DAI they have. We accept membership fees only in DAI. Once they're on the whitelist in the registry, they'll see their C-Stack tokens, which are really a membership score, and they can make a contribution. Now, I think the important thing here is that anyone who has C-Stack tokens right now, that it's a pending score. Everyone's going to start with a membership score of 0, and they have to make a contribution to become part of the Common Stack Association. And that's the big sell here is, hey, guess what? You get to become a member of a Swiss association today. You just have to contribute. We're going to have a default contribution number of 500. However, any contribution will work. So we don't have a minimum contribution fee. I guess we do. It's 1 DAI. But we're going to default to 500 because this is how we plan on funding the salaries of Jeff, Livia, Jess, and actually a lot of people who are being funded by the Common Stack right now to do some of this work. So we're trying to, this is also a way to raise funds for the Common Stack. Yeah, and so then people will contribute, and if they contribute, let's say they want to contribute $6,000, but this was someone who didn't give enough information in the trusted seed application, and so now this amount of C-Stack would exceed the max C-Stack they're allowed, they'll see a little pop-up that says, you know, oh, you could donate this much, but this is how much C-Stack you will be capped at. And so you can decrease your contribution to match your maximum amount, or you can donate extra, and you only get this many C-Stack. And then, yeah, and there's a pop-up for why the membership score is 0. And then we have beautiful little animation and confetti. Congratulations, you have a C-Stack score. You just became a member of a Swiss association, a legal member of a Swiss association. Congratulations, you got a membership score. So that's the game.
Looks good. I have a couple questions real quick. So clearly, this is part of becoming a hatcher. You have to do this to be a hatcher.
Yeah, we're going to require impact hour people to do it as well.
Right. So that's a step. And then the second part is this is a single address sort of activity, right? You need to do all of this with the address that you provide in the application, and it will run through this whole process on that one address only. Yep. Okay. Thank you.
Yep. You're so
I have
concise.
to go away.
Greg.
Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye, Julio. Any other questions on this? You guys think we're going to run into any barriers on this? Sorry, Zapp. Go ahead.
No, I don't have questions, but I just wanted to say, like, it looks so cool. Like, the app interface looks very nice.
Oh, thanks. Marco, man. Marco's incredible, right? Cool. Well, oh yeah, Craig.
What do you think timeline, Griff? Like, how long before the expected hatch will this piece be live?
Like a month ago? Dude, this is issue 2 in the common stack. You know, like, I've been working on this to get this out for so long.
I'm sure.
But it's blocked by some volunteer work, and I'm not sure that our volunteers are putting enough time into it. I'll find out today. I'm pretty confident that I'm going to be underwhelmed in the call today. I'm a little sad by that. So we'll see, but it's really close to done. So, by the way, what happens with the funds when they're done is they go to a Giveth campaign, and all the funds that are there are controlled by the Common Stack Association. And anybody to receive those funds will have to have a legal agreement with the Common Stack Association for salaries and invoices and these sorts of things. So it's actually this application is on top of Giveth, and then all the funds that are collected here will be able to be transparently traced where they go. In fact, you'll be able, if your membership fee, when you contribute your membership fee, you'll be able to see, oh, that went to Jess to pay her salary for, January. You'll actually see my money went to this thing. Super cool. Yeah.
And will you see that through Giveth or something else?
Through Giveth.
And the people who already donated during the last year, is it already counted, or everybody has to donate at least one day again?
Everyone has to donate. I really don't want to say that ever again, that one die thing. It's a horrible anchor, and we really, really do need the funding. So let's all not say that one die thing. Let's really say, like, everyone needs to donate. I'm sorry, this is like, this is basically, if we don't get more donations, I'm going to have to donate. Please don't make me donate. Yeah, 500 DAI is the default donation contribution, and yeah, everyone has to put it in because this is part of the legal situation. It's really easy to say you are signing these terms of conditions and giving us money, so now that's what you gave, and now this is what we give. And it's like a ironclad thing where, like, you sign these terms and conditions and you contributed, we're good.
Yeah, my question was like, you are beginning from now on, or you are taking into account?
No, so one of the things with our legal advice is that we can't have a set price for C-Stack tokens. So, like, part of that also means that when you have a bunch of C-Stack tokens, we're probably going to have a rate of 2.5 C-Stack tokens for every DAI that's contributed as a membership fee. So if you send in a 500 DAI, then that would get you 1,250. I don't know, dude. Yeah, I think it's 1,250. Yeah, 1,250 C stack, and you would have all your old C stack. I mean, really, what we're going to do is anyone who doesn't pay their membership fee, we're going to burn their C stack, and then when they do pay their membership fee, they'll get all of their C stack back.
Okay. Let's put my example as an example. I donated as an example. I donated at the beginning, and then I received a lot of CSTK tokens later because of the price system. How much CSTK tokens do I have? That are not
all
pending?
of them. You'll have all of those C-Stack tokens. Your membership score will include all the C-Stack tokens you had before, plus the whatever you donate, whatever you contribute. You'll get more C-Stack because of it.
But you have pending CSTK tokens, and then you have the real balance of CSTK tokens, right?
So you have, I mean, on the blockchain, you have C-Stack tokens,
yep.
Right? But then there's a membership score.
Okay.
And the membership score is kind of on top of the blockchain. And it's saying, hey, like no one has any membership score because right now the Common Stack Association barely exists.
Okay.
Right? But once we start contributing members, once you're a legal member of the Common Stack Association, now your C-Stack tokens equal your membership score. And before the hatch, we are going to need to burn everyone's C-Stack tokens who hasn't contributed. Because now they're no longer a legal Stack Association, and we don't want them to contribute to the hatch of the TEC without any legal protection. So we're just going to burn their C-Stack tokens. But later, if even during the hatch, because the way that you told me the C-Stack token works for the hatch, if during the hatch they pay their membership fee, they'll get all their C-Stack token that they had before that we burned. They'll get all back, plus the extra that their membership fee created. So it's just more about maintaining the hygiene of the hatch. But there's lots of people who have received praise that have that have never given us an address, and we can't give them any C-Stack. Even those C-Stack that are just on our spreadsheet that we've been keeping track of, they will get that bonus as well.
Okay, guys, we made it to the hour. Before we leave, I want to let you know that I shared that chart on the legal channel, as well as a terms and condition contract that we have for conviction voting. We have from Aragon. So if anyone wants to take a look at that before we can dive into it in the following weeks, that'd be great.
The bonding curve, right? Or conviction voting?
No, I think it's conviction voting.
Both. We have both.
Both. Okay.
But the one I sent you is conviction voting.
Okay. Then if you can post the bonding curve one also, that'd be great. All right, I'll see you next week, and those who wants to jump into the lab, they are welcome to do so. Bye-bye, guys.
Thank you.